Welcome back to Cigar Time, the world's most viewed cigar show in prime time. Well, near
In the
prime
Philadelphia
time.
area?
Near prime time.
Okay.
No, I think we are
We're it.
best and largest viewed cigar show in the planet.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe that. I think
Nice.
we are.
Okay.
And we thank you.
Nice.
We thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
And just to thank you,
Gracias.
we're going to smoke cigars.
Yeah, baby.
And our first cigar today, which Thea will tell us about, is the Rocky Patel Renaissance.
Yes, our cigar of the day is Rocky Patel Renaissance. The wrapper is Ecuadorian Sumatra. The binder is Nicaraguan, and the filler is Nicaraguan and Honduran. The sizes are Churchill and Robusto, and the taste profile on this is rich mocha, sweet cream, spicy pepper, and sweet raisin. Doesn't that sound tasty?
Yes, it does.
It really does.
We'll find out.
All right.
As
wanted
we
to-
light it up.
I wanted to show the audience at home a little trick, something you can try. What I'm going to do is
Does it involve animals?
No.
Oh, my
Okay,
God.
good.
I'm going to take the no, only cigars were injured in this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take the end of the wrapper off. Just put a little bit of pressure using the cutter. And the reason I'm doing this is after you do it, you can take the wrapper off.
But only the end.
Only the end. And what you'll do is when you light the cigar, you'll taste the cigar, what it tastes like without the wrapper, and then when you get to the wrapper, you can actually tell, you can taste the differences, and you can see how much the wrapper actually adds to the flavor of the cigar.
Neat trick.
So
Now, Scott is a
Try this
trained
at home.
professional, so be careful when you do this at home.
we're encouraging them to try this at home.
Don't use a really good cigar.
Oh, the better, the better.
There
Yeah, use a good cigar.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, not your first time. You want to do it right. I'd be
The first time I
mad.
did this, it came right off. There we go.
Yeah, this isn't
Nice.
something to do every
Wow.
time you smoke a cigar,
Right, no,
but
this
if you
is
just want to explore the impact of a wrapper
Yep.
on the taste of the cigar, that's what you should do.
Oh. Don't forget to cut it.
Like I said, he's a trained professional.
He's a strained
I
professional.
was so focused on getting that done, which I
It
didn't.
looks
did a
really
good
nice.
job.
Yeah.
I forgot to cut it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we
You're not a cigar smoker unless you've done that,
I know.
At least one.
At least once, yeah.
And burned at least a few holes in your shirts.
Yeah.
Mine's is
No,
jacked up
no
today.
good cigar is good unless you wear it.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay.
So now I'll be able to tell the difference between what it tastes like without the wrapper and then when I get to the wrapper.
So what is it tasting like right now?
It's very spicy right now.
Yeah, it is spicy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which isn't surprising because I don't know how much spice the wrapper adds, but
Well, it's
Actually,
Sumatra, so.
it's Ecuadorian Sumatra,
Yeah.
which is spicy.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy.
So the net, well, we'll talk about the
What's the-
overall flavor
Yeah.
later.
you guys are getting that from the. I'm tasting it before my. Right now, my cigar should taste not completely.
Binder and
but
filler you're getting from.
different from everybody else's because I'm not getting a lot of the flavor comes from the wrapper.
Yours tastes different because you're you. Let's face it.
True.
All right, we got that too.
The palate of the Billy
This
goat.
isn't as spicy as I thought it was. This doesn't taste as spicy as I thought it was going to be. It's like a mild spicy.
Well, this is the part of the program where we cut away to Paul, who will pontificate at some length
Oh, God.
on, of all subjects, boxes.
Yeah.
Take it away, Paul,
Okay, so
but not too far.
not too far. So today I'm not Paul in the field, I'm Paul in the box. And, you know, we all see cigars in boxes all the time, and we might not think much about where they came from or why they're there, or, in fact, the illustrious history that cigar boxes have had. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of cigar boxes, but to understand it, you have to know that there were two parallel lines. Cigar boxes evolved in Cuba one way along one path, and they evolved in the United States along a completely different path until everything ran together. So we'll start in Cuba. And interestingly enough, up until the 1800s, Cuba typically packed their cigars, get ready for this, in pig bladders.
Ew.
Nice.
They would take 25 to 100 cigars and shove them into a pig bladder, and with that they would stick a sprig of vanilla bean, which was supposed to keep the pig bladder from stinking up the cigar. Of course, today we think the other way around. Everybody's worried that the cigar is going to stink up something else.
Right.
But they were smart.
I kind of want why a pig bladder? Like why not like a cow bladder or?
Maybe because people ate the cow bladders and they didn't eat the pig. I don't know, honestly.
Who knows?
I have no answer for that. But I will tell you that the other ways that cigars were sold or packaged back then basically were only two ways. They put them for export in giant steamer trunk type cabinets that held up to 10,000 cigars apiece.
Wow.
And they also took handfuls of cigars and wrapped them in palm leaves, which they called yaguas.
Yaguas.
Yagua was the palm leaf frond wrapping that they would make up little bundles of cigars
Which
in.
name used to do that? Astorel used to pack
Yeah,
their cigars
yeah,
that way. Yeah.
that's right, yeah.
And that was called a yagua. So in Cuba, that was the method for hundreds of years until 1830 specifically. And in 1830, one of the largest bankers in England, a gent by the name of H. Upman, came up with the idea of bringing cigars back to London to give to all of his clients. And because he wanted to make sure that the cigars he selected in Cuba were the cigars that he got in London, instead of packing them in the giant sea chests, he requested that they be put in smaller boxes with the bank's logo on them. And it was a very simple box. This isn't one from the 1830s, but it was essentially this. It was a plain wood box with the H. Upman name stamped on it.
We should have put some beads in that box.
That went over really well. And in fact, within about 10 years, every cigar in Cuba was being shipped in wooden boxes of some sort or other most of the time. So that was the beginning of it in Cuba. In the United States, it followed a very different path. The main ways that cigars came here were in oak barrels that usually had about 2,500 cigars in them, or in the bunches of those yaguas that they would then be able to sell as a bunch or as a bundle. But you have to remember, in that time, domestic cigars, which were vastly the larger number of cigars that were being sold, were pretty much sold one at a time or just in handfuls, and there weren't boxes at all. We have one man to thank for the whole idea of putting American cigars in boxes, and believe it or not, that man is Abe Lincoln. And the reason for cigar boxes was the Civil War. Lincoln was looking for ways to finance the war, and his brilliant idea was to tax cigars. And this had been tried a few times in the past, and Congress never passed it. But this time they did pass it, and almost immediately discovered that the problem was there was no way to define which cigars had been taxed and which cigars hadn't been taxed. So by executive order, Lincoln mandated that every cigar sold in America, whether it was made here or imported, every cigar sold in America had to be sold in a wooden box. The boxes could only be 25 cigars, 50 cigars, 100 cigars, or 250 cigars. And the box had to have a clear space big enough for a tax stamp. So basically, us cigar smokers paid for the Civil War.
Wow.
I did not know that.
And if Uncle Max was with us today, he could tell you personally that he paid for the Civil War.
He's the one who stamped.
Has he
put
passed
the tax
on?
stamp on it.
Has he passed on, or is he still with us?
He's still here.
Oh, he's still with us?
He's
Okay.
behind us somewhere.
Probably peeking through the
Yes,
window.
smoking those cigars kept him alive all this time.
Just to give you an idea about the taxes, during the war, a nickel cigar had 7 extra cents of tax put on it. So it more than doubled the price of cigars.
Wow.
I thought it was bad.
Almost
now.
like today.
Wow.
Almost like today. Sad but true.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So back in those days, the boxes were all plain. They were unbranded. You know, it was like the H. Upman box, but without the H. Upman on it. It was just a box. Sometimes it said cigars on it, so that a store or like a drugstore or a hotel that was selling cigars could put it on the shelf and people knew there were cigars in it. And that was basically all there was as far as design.
Did they use a certain type of wood back then?
No, in the United States, there was no particular interest in using cedar at that point for cigar boxes. They just wanted a box so that
they
tax
could
stamp
stamp
could
it.
go on it.
I think it'd be an interesting point to tell everyone that back in the days you're talking about, there were tens of thousands of cigar factories in the United States.
Yes.
Well, yeah, actually, there were over 140,000
There you go.
cigar
There you go.
factories in the U.S. But thank you for bringing that up because this is an important point. At that time, by 1890, 40% of all cigars made in America were produced on the Lower East Side of Manhattan in a very small radius. And at that time, there were only 7 companies in the United States, 6 in New York and 1 in Philadelphia, that worked on making labels for all of the cigar boxes for
Wow.
all of those cigars.
Let me guess, Lincoln's friend had an interest in the labels in the box manufacturer.
Yeah, well, no, actually not.
That's
And
the politics of
I'll-
today, I'm sorry.
I'll come back to that too.
Oh,
Anyway,
It's only a half-hour show, Paul.
in the 1880s and 90s, cigar makers started making what they called and what we call today private label cigars. Basically, all of those thousands and thousands of factories each made only 1 or 2 different cigars. But any distributor who bought from them could have their own brand. Any drugstore or hotel that bought 10 boxes at a time could have their own brand. And every rich guy who just wanted his own cigars could have his own brand. And they might all be the same cigar.
Nice.
But all of a sudden, there was an explosion of brands. In fact, over 1.5 million brands in the late 1800s in the United States.
Really?
1.5 million brands of cigars.
wow.
In order to distinguish them and to give those people that were asking for private label their due, they began creating very elaborate packaging for the cigars. And there was just an interesting confluence of things at that time. All of the printers, the most sophisticated printers in the world at that time, were in Germany. Also, Germany was the largest manufacturer of cigars in the world at that time. Even though the Cuban cigars were the most desirable, production of cigars in Germany was about 100 times greater.
They
than
made
the
a
rest
lot of small cigar, very small.
They bought tobacco from the Dutch, who were traveling all over the world, and we've talked about that in past episodes. They traveled all over the world buying up tobacco and plantations, and the Germans bought all that tobacco, and they were making the cigars. Under the regime of Otto von Bismarck in Germany, a lot of the artisan classes of people left Germany and came to the United States, and printers were very high on that list. Most of them arrived on the Upper East Side in Manhattan, and they started making the elaborate packaging for the cigars. And I want to show you a little bit of some of the kinds of things that they were doing. At that time, the boxes themselves were relatively cheap, so it was all about the design work. And this is a contemporary box, but this is very representative of what was typical in that day. It was a plain, lightweight wooden box wrapped in paper. This was called the cover sheet. And then inside was the lid sheet, and typically there would be another sheet just like this laying on top of the cigars. That was called the top sheet.
A lot of sheet.
Then there was yeah, a whole bunch of sheets. And of course there was a name for everything. So these strips of paper that went around the edges that actually glued the whole thing together, that had a name too. That was called fileta. The thing is, right at that same time, they invented mass stone lithography.
Why don't you hold that up?
Hold right in front of your face.
Not quite that high.
Mass
Yeah.
stone lithography. Anyway, the printing became very elaborate. In fact, they used large stone plates to print the artwork on each of the boxes, and they usually had as many as 12 colors. So, here, I have some other examples of some of the beautiful artwork that we have today that's really just a hint of how beautiful
But
things
they
were.
didn't come with the warning labels back then, did they?
No, there was no Surgeon General
is
at
what
that
I'm
time.
saying.
Came with a doctor's
This is
recommendation.
very representative of the complex artwork that was going on at the time. But what you have to understand is that these 7 companies that were making all of these all of these papers for the cigar boxes had hundreds of artists who did nothing all day but paint thousands of little paintings like this that were then converted into solid stone lithographic plates. And there had to be 12 plates for each sheet because each plate had a different color. And then they were just cranking these out. And if you think about a piece of art like this, painted, but now imagine that there are 1.5 million different paintings
Wow.
being produced in the span of about 10 or 12 years.
Wow.
And all of the printing that came with that.
Paul, that's most informative. I've got to stop you there. We'll continue this on a later show.
Absolutely.
We got other stuff we got to talk about there.
Well, you know, crank me up and I can just keep
Oh,
going.
yes, I said pontificate.
And he did.
And I did.
You didn't disappoint.
Interesting references to Lincoln, the Civil War, and a lot of sheep.
Yeah, you don't really hear Lincoln and Bismarck together in conversation.
Not too often.
Didn't the British sink his battleship?
You sunk my battleship. Yes, they did.
That is correct.
Okay, so I think
Now
it's
we get
time
back
for
to our
us
cigar.
to review our Rocky Patel Renaissance, and we'll start with our esteemed colleague to my left, Miss Tia.
Okay, gave me like the messed up one though. It's
I didn't give you anything.
Mine's falling apart a little bit, but I
Oh,
still got the. Well, it is, but I got. He gave me a bad one. What can I say?
All right,
Just the wrapper. Really good cigar. I'm loving the flavors of it. I can taste the mocha. When I first lit it up, I got a peppery, spicy taste, but it was almost like a sweet kind of taste. It wasn't overpowering. Wasn't like, oh, I got to put the cigar down or anything. I'm getting some sweet cream as I move into the middle. I love the band, of course. Love the box. It's a good cigar.
It is a nice
It's
box.
very, yeah, it's a nice.
So on a scale of 1 to
It's very
5,
tasty.
your
Well,
review.
no, we'll-
Oh no, we're not. Oh,
afterwards.
okay. I
got
thought
a
I would
really
just
nice
save a
ra-
little
I
time.
got a really nice rating for this one.
Okay, Rob.
I like the cigar a lot. I definitely get the spiciness when I first light it up, and then it goes into the creaminess taste to it. I do get a hint of raisin. I don't know if everybody else did.
that taste?
I did, yeah, a sweet taste of raisin to it. I think it's a very good cigar.
It is good. Just mad.
Paul?
Pepper, stupid.
Well, to me, although Rocky Patel makes a lot of good cigars, this is my go-to Rocky cigar. I
Really?
like it a lot. And you know, when we talk about the tasting notes of different cigars, the official tasting notes, a lot of times you might like a cigar, but it doesn't taste like what the notes say. This is one cigar that I think
It does,
exactly
yep.
delivers on this list of notes.
I'd agree.
It's got that mocha, it's got a sweet creaminess in the middle, it starts off with great spice, and there is that raisiny note that's really
Yeah,
distinctive.
That is what
Absolutely.
I'm tasting.
And it puts out boatloads of smoke.
Smoke,
Yeah.
tons of smoke in here.
Scott.
This is one of my favorite Rocky Patel cigars. I absolutely love this one. And I will say it had some spice when I started smoking it without the wrapper. But it was the flavor was kind of flat. But once I got to the wrapper, the spice and there was an explosion of flavor, and the spiciness really picked up. I got I did get the raisin, maybe a little bit of almost a currant, and then definitely the cocoa and sweet
Yeah,
cream.
absolutely.
You
Yeah.
definitely get the sweet
Love
cream.
this
tasty
cigar.
Raisin wasn't good enough for you, it had to be currant.
Current,
Hey, I get what I get. You know?
It's better than being uncurrent.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't think I can add much to this except to say that this is a kick-ass cigar. It's a great cigar.
Yeah.
I think it's time to go around the table and rate it.
Oh, I know why my wrapper you threw. Anyway,
You said you had a good rating.
I do have a good rating.
Did you have it
Debating.
today?
4.65.
Wow. Yeah, for her, that's a tremendous
It
raise.
is. It is.
really.
Because, like Paul said, it's true to what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I give it a 4.5.
Oh, okay. Paul?
I give it a 4.6.
Holy
A
mackerel.
4.6 that way.
I have to disagree. I give it a 4.75.
Ah,
See, he
I
just
love
has
this
to
cigar.
outdo.
Holy mackerel.
I just wish it was a little less expensive.
Yeah, it's a pretty expensive cigar.
Yeah.
That's the only
What
problem.
is this?
I go right in there at about a 4.6. So all
Okay.
told, it's about a 4.6, which is pretty
Pretty
dang
good.
Pretty good.
Absolutely.
What do these things sell for?
They sell for about $7.70. For the Robusto,
Really?
Churchill is $8.70, so about $174 a box.
So it's pretty expensive. $174. Can't we do a little better than that?
Well,
200.
Supposed to go down.
No, I didn't. I mean down.
About 99.95.
That's
For a
big
box?
discount.
For a box.
No. No.
And there's 20 in a box, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
20 in a
there's
box.
20 in a-
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong?
That's only
How about-
$5.
how about-
Wait a
Let's
minute.
go lower.
Wait a minute. How
Can we
much
go
lower you
lower?
want to go?
I'd go $75 a box.
No.
What are you thinking?
$69.95?
Nah.
Are you kidding me? I wanted 200.
Oh my God.
Let's sell them between now and April 15th, or while supplies last. Limit 5 boxes to a customer.
Oh,
You ready? Drum roll.
ready.
We're going back to 200.
How about $49.95?
Are you serious?
$49.95.
$2.50 each.
Wow.
Wow.
Instead of
Serious?
$8.
Instead of
$7 or
$9,
$8.
Can
So
we
we're
do
running
that?
a special.
Yeah, we can do it. We got thousands
Yeah,
of
I want to
boxes.
get paid.
While supplies last.
I want to get paid. Are we going to make any money on this?
Nah, come on. We're coming into spring. The winter's been brutal. We're starting to just get into some little better weather.
Wow.
So why don't we get the golfers early? Why don't we get people out, get them boogieing into the stores, and let's give them away at 50
Listen,
bucks.
no-
$49.95.
Both
We're going to
sides?
have other stores trying to come in and buy them from us at that price.
They're available at all nine cigar stores.
Yes, I have plenty.
Now, what you need,
Like Scott said, both sizes?
both sizes, same price.
Wow.
We'll give them all for
Churchill and
49.
Robusto.
But here's
Wow.
what you got to do. You have to go to our website, and our website is
cccigars.com.
On there, you'll see a little coupon. Either bring your smartphone in and show the person behind the counter the smartphone, or just print and cut out the coupon, bring it in. What did I say, 5 to a customer?
Yes.
5.
Up to 5 boxes to a customer at all 9 stores. Okay,
Wow, that's a pretty good price.
it's a
Pretty
damn good price.
That's
Well,
an
they're going to love it
incredible
because this
price.
is really
I
tasty
just
cigar.
think it's time to just light things up a little, just really get things rattled.
Wow.
here.
Just in time for this.
Like
Just
tomorrow.
in time.
Well, this is
just
a good
in time
cigar to
for
do
the
it with.
spring.
By the way, this is a
Choice.
cigar that ages really
Yeah,
nicely.
Yes,
yeah.
So
absolutely.
even if you're not used to buying multiple boxes of one cigar at a time, at this price, buy a bunch and put some away.
Lay it
Yeah.
down, yeah.
Yeah, please, whatever you do, don't rush to other dealers and expect them to be giving you the boxes for $49.95.
Yeah.
You'll be very disappointed.
This is a cigar special.
Yeah, this is an exclusive for us.
Yes.
So I guess it's time to move on to a topic we've been covering the last few weeks, our 5 best cigars, and we're down to numero uno, number one.
Ooh.
So who wants to take the lead on that?
Start with tea. Ladies first.
Ladies.
Okay. My favorite cigar of all time, I guess, my number 1 is the Fuente Añejo Shark number 77.
Not a bad choice.
Not a bad
And
choice.
why is it you like that cigar?
That is a great cigar. Just the look of that cigar makes you just want to pick it up and eat it. I mean, the Connecticut broadleaf, right? Doesn't it? It's just
true.
so deep,
It
rich,
is
like a
rich.
chocolate-looking cup wrapper. That's the Connecticut broadleaf. It's aged in a sherry barrel. The binder is Dominican and the filler is Dominican. And I'm not too big on Dominican, but I just love this.
It's a great cigar.
It's a great
my
cigar.
number 2.
And they,
That's
right,
they
it was your
never
number two.
put that cigar in a pig bladder.
No.
Oh, thank
It
God.
only comes out. It only comes out once a year.
Once a year.
Yes,
Christmas.
it's very rare. Only comes out once a year. The band is beautiful. The construction is beautiful. I just love this cigar. It's one of my favorites.
Rob?
It's my
Wow,
favorite.
very good. My cigar, people have said it already in the past. It's a Nicaraguan Puro. It comes in a sun-grown, natural, and a Maduro wrapper.
I'm going to assume that's a quorum.
It is not a quorum.
Oh.
I almost
This
choked.
this cigar is so copied that they actually put a serial number on the band, so nobody can.
That's right.
So nobody can duplicate the cigar.
Oh, wow.
It's very, very good. It is the Padron 1964 Anniversario Exclusivo.
In
It's
Maduro, I'll
awesome.
bet.
In Maduro.
Yeah.
It's
Gotta
a
do the
Robusto
Maduro.
size. It's 5 by 50. It looks a little smaller because it's box pressed. It's actually 5.5 by 50. It looks a little smaller because it's box pressed, but it's fantastic. It's got a nice chocolatey taste to it, cocoa taste to it.
Cocoa.
And I don't know anybody who does not like that cigar.
Everybody.
Everybody
Everybody
loves
loves
that
it.
cigar.
I
But
think
it's-
everybody's
it's-
had it in their top 5.
Yeah,
That
it
was
is.
in my
Well,
top
At
5.
one
It's
time or
my
another,
favorite
yeah.
cigar of all time.
That was my number 2.
So, yeah,
See how we are?
we
We're
switched.
so, we're
yeah.
so the same.
Paul?
Well, my cigar is a little bit obscure, but it's also a Nicaraguan Puro. It's a cigar from the My Father Cigar Company. It's called, that's Don Pepin Garcia, for those of you who don't know. And it's a little tiny cute cigar called the My Father Le Bijou. It's a dark cigar. As I said, it's a Nicaraguan Puro. It's got very, very rich, concentrated, spicy and sweet flavors. And it's a combination that I just find completely irresistible. And in the midst of my 12 cigars a day, because it's a small cigar, I can sort of throw that in the mix no matter what and not worry about it. And I just love them.
That's a great cigar. Mine is the Tatuaje Cajono 2012 Broadleaf.
Never
Oh,
guessed
whoa,
that.
whoa. That's a
Wow.
lot of...
Not to be mixed
How
up
do they
with
fit
the,
all that on the box?
With
they
the
also have a
Habano or the-
Habano wrapper and a Sumatra wrapper.
Sumatra's really good.
Lots
too.
of coffee and leather flavors, some cocoa in it, very smooth. It's a medium to full. It's very smooth, but it gets spicy close to the middle and the end of the cigar. Nicaraguan filler and binder, and I just absolutely fell in love with the cigar the second I had it.
It's a very good cigar.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's not cheap, but it's good.
No,
All
I
right,
think it's the best tattoo.
my last.
you're last.
I think I'm just going to blow everybody away.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
My favorite domestic cigar. I'll
Domestic.
say non-Cuban. Non-Cuban
That's
cigar
better.
is the Partagas 150.
There you go. If you can get them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
if you
socking
find
it
them.
to
We
them.
have them.
That's
Well,
true.
nobody else does.
We
Cabinets.
have them.
We have 'em.
We have them. And I could go on and on about the cigar, but we are running out of time.
It's
So
about a
all I
30-year-old
can say, yeah, the wrapper's almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
The cigars themselves were made, rolled in the middle 1990s, so they've got a lot of age on them. Typically not inexpensive, but it's a damn fine cigar.
Can't argue with that.
No,
I don't think
absolutely
anybody
not.
can
It's a great cigar.
You
This-
may be the only person at this table that can afford to smoke that.
Probably.
You're not talking to me, are you? If they're paying for all these shows, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, especially if we're selling Rockies for under $50 a
Yeah,
box.
well, don't forget, go to the website, cccigars.com, and get the coupon, $49.95.
You need the coupon in order to get
Yep.
in order
You
to
need
get
the
the box.
coupon or the smartphone. Well, we're running out of time.
30 seconds.
I guess it's
Oh,
time.
real quick, I just took the wrapper off and I'm tasting the binder,
don't have
and it is
time.
different.
Okay.
Okay, just wanted to say that.
All right, everybody, time to say goodbye.
Say goodbye, Gracie.
Bye bye. Bye bye for now.
Ciao for now, everybody.
Bye,
Oh my
Mom.
God.
And Pennsylvania, look out for potholes.
and smoke happy and smoke often.
As always, thank you very much for your patronage, and I guess we'll see you next week, so tune in.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you.